Welcome to a busted play. An illegal use of hands to the face short. Let's talk Julio Jones, baby. He's in Tennessee now. Uh,
Yes.
I mean, did you expect that to be his landing spot?
Yeah, kind of. But I mean, like I said before with the video I posted on TikTok, if you're not following us on TikTok, you definitely should. I think it's illegal use of hands official, maybe. I don't know.
Mhm.
Sorry. But it's in the YouTube description if you need to check us out there. But yeah, no. We both were like last year we were like, who's the best team in the AFC South? Almost every analyst we were looking at was like saying Colts will win in the division. It's like, why do we
Mhm.
think that the Titans aren't going to win the division again? And what do? They go out and win the division again. And now I feel like it's this kind of the same thing again this year, where we're hearing a bunch of analysts say the Colts are going to win the division again. It's like, nah, I still think the Titans are going to win the division again. And the thing is I thought that even with Corey Davis leaving, like without the Julio talk or whatever, when we still thought Julio was going to be on the Falcons this season, uh, Julio steps it up even more. I mean, this team
Mhm.
is going to win the AFC South now, right? Again, I think for what will be the third year in a row, right? Um,
Yeah,
or did they? No, because did they go to Baltimore in the wild card round last year, or that was the divisional round? They went in the
that was
divisional
divisional
round.
round.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, 2 years ago actually. Um, but yeah, I think they'll take it again, and I still like Tennessee. I mean, Julio just makes the team even better. They arguably, like we said, like physically comparing AJ Brown to anyone in the league, there is nothing he can't do. It's just like he's not getting targeted insanely like other people are, like Diggs or
Mhm.
Hopkins or anything else. So with that, then you have to go, okay, if he gets those targets, he would be like, it would immediately be apparent to everybody that he is definitely a number one receiver. Derrick Henry, no one's questioning it at all. Ryan Tannehill, very underrated quarterback, extremely talented when it comes to just being super efficient with the football, not making bad mistakes, making great reads, and honestly throwing like pretty pinpoint accurate passes. Um, so with all that being said, adding Julio just makes it insane because Julio's arguably one of the best receivers in the league too. So I mean, oh no, we lost our O coordinator and our starting tight end. Well, geez, honestly, with the trade off being Julio Jones, especially considering that Julio still looks like he's got a decent amount of gas left in the tank, uh, yeah, I'm pretty excited to see it. With what we saw Larry Fitzgerald do, like past 35. I mean, but Julio's 33 now, I think. He could have 3 solid years left, to
Mhm.
say the least, with how talented he is. Um, and I don't think that's beyond him at all. Uh, with that being said, still think there's question marks on the defense, but there's kind of been question marks on the defense for a while there. I just think the offense has so much potential basically to do whatever they need to do in any game situation, whether it's run it a ton or throw it a ton or run play action that they also do very well. Um, it really makes them hard to beat unless you're willing to score at least like 30 points in a game, as the opponent needs to score like 30 points in a game, and the defense needs to play really well to hold this team to like 28. Like that would be a good day against the Titans, holding them to 28 and just outscoring them.
Yeah. The Titans are very different than because I think some people would look at the Titans and Baltimore in the same light of, oh, if you just stop the run for them, they have no offense at that point. Which for Baltimore, that's kind of true. If you can stop the run, there's very much that they could do to really keep in the game. The Titans, that's not the case at all. If you stop, and this even amplifies it more with Julio on that team. The Titans 85% of their plays or 80% of their plays, something like that, were two wide receiver sets last season. And if 85% of your plays you have AJ Brown and Julio and Derrick Henry in the backfield, that is like the best or not the scariest looking offense that you have to line up against probably the whole season.
Yeah.
Like that is insane. their play action game is great, and it's going to like be even better now that it's Julio Jones and not Corey Davis there. Corey Davis was great for them last season, but it's Julio Jones. Uh, just yeah, you've talked about how underrated Ryan Tannehill is. If anything's going to hold that team back, it's going to be their defense, but that defense just has to play mediocre, and they're going to win the division handily. It's
Handedly.
They just need Bud Dupree to live up to a third of his contract.
Yeah, you're not kidding. But even that's kind of like a tall task. Jeez, I'm excited to look and see what they did on defense. When we get around to talking about them, because I feel like from what I remember, they had a fairly strong first few initial defensive selections. So I'm wondering if their late round picks were fairly talented as well. We'll have to see how they did deeper in the draft. But I mean, early pick wise, I liked what they did a lot.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, just like that was really a lot of defensive back stuff. I want to see linebackers, D line too. But yeah, I mean, the Texans and the Jaguars are not really teams that we think are going to be threatening the Titans this year. The Jaguars could be down the road. The Texans are a long way from that. And the Colts are the only question mark. But I'm not amazed with Carson Wentz, as we have went over. And I think you're more excited for it than I am. But I don't know if you're too excited. And that's another team that's going to be interesting when we get around to, just to see how that team meshes together. I think for the Colts to be successful, unlike the Titans, who we think will be able to throw the ball or run the ball whether they need to or not, I think the Colts could be a team that is more limited. If they can't get their run game going in games, they could have a harder time playing in games where they need to throw the ball. And I think that's if the Titans can force them to have to throw the ball, because I don't love the receiving weapons there, that could make it a big challenge. And yes, the Titans could definitely run away with this division then.
Yeah, the one thing that because it's not true at all now with how their teams are set up, but even if the Titans and the Colts run like an even playing field, just the Colts over the past 4 seasons, really, have not had a consistent starting quarterback. It's been different every single season over the past 4 years. The Titans now have that, and they're not settling into a new guy for 1 year or 2 years and then having to move on. They have their guy, and they know what they're good at. I mean, you're getting a new offensive coordinator, but I don't really think it's going to be hard for him to look at their tape from last season and just be like, yeah, this is what we were good at. Let's just stick to getting the rock to Derrick Henry and running excellent play action off of it. It's an easy game plan for them to have, especially when they have two very talented receivers.
Yeah. And the only other thing that I'm just like thinking about now that we could add, there's only one quarterback ahead of Ryan Tannehill in terms of just being like completely looked at as like completely like just defenses just always underrate his athleticism. The only guy that they underrate athleticism more is Daniel Jones, because Daniel Jones is athletic while also being a klutz. So, you know, when he has his open field 90-yard touchdown run that he should have, that he changes into an 80 or 85-yard scamper where he trips at the 5-yard line. You know, Ryan Tannehill doesn't do that. So he's slightly below him, but people fail to realize how athletic he is. And that's definitely an element that's helpful to his game. It really, if somehow you manage to get through read 1 and 2 with those two amazing players on the field and neither of them are open, you don't even need to necessarily look to your third read, because that guy can just still take off.
Yeah, I think that would be a great game plan for them to have. Just, all right, if A.J. Brown or Julio aren't open, just run with it, dude.
And what are the chances that happens? Like a 2% chance?
Yeah.
50 dropbacks and he'll have 1 rush attempt. Yeah.
Oh, man. Just, I mean, Yeah, Ryan Tannehill's athleticism is very underrated, but I just keep thinking about that Bills game when he dove into the end zone, did the finger roll with the ball, and almost rolled his ankle. And
Yeah.
but besides that, very athletic. Besides that one thing.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's hard not to get excited and get too excited when you're good at football.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, especially when you're finally coming back into your own and have freed yourself from Adam Gase's grasp,
Wrath.
his wrath. Yeah,
All right, all set.
yeah. I think we can cut it here.